Welcome everyone to another enriching learning experience on home construction and interiors organized by Kolo. At Kolo, we are on a mission to help every homeowner build a perfect home, perfect in design and perfectly aligned with their budget. As most of you know, Kolo is an advisory-led marketplace. We are not a construction company and we are not an interior design firm. Instead, we position ourselves as a strong, deeply expertised partner for every homeowner in Bangalore, helping them evaluate every step of their home construction and interior journey. Over the past 5 years, Kolo has guided and evaluated a wide range of construction and interior projects, enabling us to develop strong practical knowledge, clear benchmarks, and repeatable best practices that empower homeowners to make the right decisions at each stage. In construction and interior projects, the right information at the right time is absolutely critical. This includes insights into the latest design trends, materials, and their cost, as well as a clear evaluation of professionals such as architects and interior designers, who will be responsible for executing your home. A home construction journey involves multiple decisions across design, materials, costing, and execution, making it a complex and high involvement process. To simplify this journey for homeowners, we conceptualize these webinars along with many other offerings to deliver the right information from the right experts at the right time, helping you to evaluate options confidently and make informed decisions. Today, we'll be discussing from scams to regret design, how Bengaluru's smart 20% choose the right interior partner for their dream home. And we are delighted to have one of the most qualified speakers of this subject with us, Mr. George Sethi, founder and managing director. Mr. George brings with him 75 years of professional experience, with 8 years specifically dedicated to relevant industries, a veteran in his field, and he has successfully delivered over 500 projects. His core expertise lies in project management, makes him the perfect authority to guide us on how to navigate the market safely and select the right partners for execution. So without further delay, I now hand over the floor to our speaker, who will share you the valuable insights and guide us through to today's topic. So before we begin, a couple of quick requests from our side. Please keep your microphones muted throughout the session. We'll take the questions at the end so that the sessions proceed smoothly and concludes within a stipulated time. So thank you for understanding, dear homeowners, and over to you, Mr. George. You can start our session.
Hello, everybody. First of all, happy Makara Sankranti and Pongal wishes to you all. And congratulations for all your new homes, maybe first home, second home, third home, whatever it is, congratulations. So I am here to talk about, thank you for the introduction. So I'm here to talk about what are the scams can happen with you if you're not aware of the things, and what are the mitigations you can take before proceeding for an interior. Because the moment when you buy a flat or constructions and everything, you can keep another set of things with you, like you can ready with it whatever the experience. For example, the builders will give you the 4 walls, right? So but the interior decorators are the one who makes you to livable in the conditions. All right, okay, let's move on. That I'll present my screen. We'll straight away get into topic. As she said, we will be having the questionnaires at last, right? So I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you all able to see it. Okay, I hope all you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
So the first of all, what I want to discuss is why this topic is very important for us, right? So building hope is, it is a one-time investment. It can be a third time, whatever it is. What happens the moment when you, probably what we see it in Bangalore. So the moment when you buy a flat, there will be timelines which might have given to you, because the builder, they themselves might have delayed maybe by year or months. You have already taken all sort of risk. You might have paid. You're already under a frustration, right? So what happens? Again, you don't want to see that in even if it is a smaller investment. For example, in interiors, what happens? So what I say, interior is not just a furniture. So we makes you guys to live there. And as I said earlier, it is just a 4 walls, but your painting, your lightings, and everything is something decided by us. So that's the reason it is very important you look at every corners before choosing this, right? So what can go wrong? I rightly mentioned here, one wrong choosing a wrong vendor. You will be at a financial loss, which is very important because everything turned into finance today. And months of delay, wherein I say again, finance, you might be paying a rent somewhere, and again, further delays, it can again get into a financial losses for you. But on top of it, it does an emotional stress. Definitely, we see most of the working professionals. You will have your own stress at your office in your day-to-day life. And when it comes to a family, people might blame you to choose it. You are the one who person who's chosen these guys, and I mean these blames might come to you. So emotional stress is another factor which will in your health as well. So what can happen? Like if you choose a right partner, what happens? You'll get an on-time delivery, you will get a better quality, you will get a long-term durability, plus you will be stress-free. You will have an hassle-free of execution if you give it to the right people from the entire journey. So let's move on to the what are the I have listed of most important things around 10 topics wherein you need to be avoiding it. Right. Not the first one. So you can stop me if I'm really going faster if there is anything, but I try to cover up in the general speed. Okay, the mistake one choosing a very lowest pricing. So what happens? I know everybody comes with the budget because you should choose what is your pocket allows. Right. So first of all, I would always say that you have your budget clear in your mind. Okay, so if I have around 10 lakh or 5 lakh, okay, this is what I want to spend for my this house. Just an example. It can be 20, 25. It all depends on your pocket. But be sure that what am I getting it in this 5 lakh? That is very important. So in there are certain cases we get to see our clients comes here and having a discussion. We'll have footfall here. What happens? My budget is 5 lakh, but I need everything in 5 lakh. That doesn't work because certain things comes with a cost. So if you're looking for a quality of material or it's only I'm okay to spend it, but anything is fine because any material. So that will you pay a cost later. So what happens if you go for only for a cheapest pricing? What happens? You can get a low grade materials. You will have along with it, you will have a laborers who's not skilled, or maybe there is no after service. For example, people try to choose it. So I want to give you an example here. I mean, I've seen it in my eyes. This has happened with one of the client. We have given a set of estimations. Later, what has happened? The budget. That's why they choose some freelancer. So what has happened? This guy, they actually not in India, so they were in when they're staying in abroad. They have made the payment of almost 4.4 lakh rupees to that person. That guy has, it was not a factory made, it was a manual metal. He dumped a material there at their site, clicked a photo and send them this photo that your flat, all the metal we have dumped, please share the, send us money. They have already paid it. What he has taken the next, after 1 or 2 days, he had taken the metal back from there and is totally absconding. So client tried doing all the PLC possible things from there and nothing has happened. So you need to choose sometimes not only a right, to only going for a lowest price. So there are further things what you need to take. So what if you're being a smart? What happens? You need to be go with the brands what they are doing it. The hardware important and workmanship, not just a final pricing. So when you get an estimations, please go through everything line items one. The person who is sending you that, sit with them, understand, and probably you look at your floor plans. What are there are a lot of corporate interiors, what they do. And we get to hear many things. Initially, when they go, they just said, okay, sir, your 2 BHK will be ready by just 3 lakh rupees. So customer will very fascinated with the advertisement. They'll go jump in. Then the actual things comes, the 3 lakh will become 8 lakh, 9 lakh rupees. This is the usual story we get to see it from. It is more on a first attraction of pulling the clients to there, and it is more on a business grade. So you need to be very clear what you are going to get it from them. So it is price is not only a one tagline. What are you getting out of that budget is very important when you're looking at. So have your homework done before what exactly you need it and what materials you are going with that. Okay. So the second mistake people usually make it, what happens, all the 2D, 3D, sorry, 3D especially, what happens, it goes with the software. So we have, 3ds Max, SketchUp, Go Home, so many things are there, and everything is now, you being in artificial intelligence, where you click a photo of area, you give a your prompt, you will get a great designs. So that doesn't feel, because
Oh,
software
result are
is. So I suggest you need to visit whomever you're choosing, whatever budget you sell, you take your time, because your investment. Because if if you are buying a cell phone, maybe an iPhone or anything, so you go to a and you validate there is no scratches and everything is fine, then you buy it. So in that case, when you are spending maybe a lakhs of money, you need to take up some time and visit one of the existing projects, and you should see that how this is being made. And if your vendor is able to give you the 3D what they made it, and exactly they are replicating at a site, it will be really great. I would suggest, if there is a possibility of it, otherwise at least meet that site, that client. So that will really give a clarity, not just seeing a site. Just talk to the client. How was an entire experience? You can ask them, is there anything that I need to be taken care? Because then an owner will understand another owner, definitely. Because if he had a chaotic situation, definitely you tell that, okay, these guys are like this, and this is area you need to take care of. So please do that. See, when I'm presenting you being an owner of an interior, it doesn't mean that whatever projects I delivered, everything was great, everything was perfect. There is no delay, extreme quality. No, it is not the situation. We had hard things. There are clients, there are cases like we have, there are certain areas we have to say sorry to the client. But only one thing is, we never, I guess, in any of the the customers, we went and said, no, this is how it can be done. There is nothing further. Even if it is a loss is happening for us, also we make sure that the clients are happy, because sometimes this industry is very much unorganized. It is not easy. You work with every set of standard of people, aligning everything in one umbrella. It is not a easy thing. We might miss on that, but we take an accountability. That is very important. If today or tomorrow, if there is anything, we should be always on a on the safer side. So that is the reason you must visit a past work and meet the client, and take a feedback, not just probably going with the Google. You should, I'm not saying that you should go with the shouldn't be going with the Google, but you should see the reviews. There are, so there are a lot of paid reviews also nowadays, just only on the social media only. So that's the reason we should visit at least one project, check that manual finishing, alignment, and everything is fine. Because every house has a story. Because the way you want your house, it cannot be the case for others. So just talk to that client itself. So visiting a past work is also very important. So the third mistake people can make it ignoring material specifications, right? So in the estimations, we'll say BWP ply and an MR ply. So you guys know that what is a BWP ply. So everything lead to again final line estimation, what I talked about. So let them give a brand name, which is the BW ply. So are you using, if I take a top, grade, top brands in market, like Green, Century, Can, there are a lot of plies. I guess more than 100 plus ply brands in Bangalore. So you specifically ask which brand are you using it? What is the warranty which is given by that company? How can you make sure that this company produces and gives me a right? For example, we usually normally use, I'm not doing a brand promotion, just Century we are using it. How can I ensure that I am buying from a distributor, Century is giving me a right material or not? Anything and everything you see it nowadays can be having a copy. How do you come out of it? So there are, if I talk about in hardwares, you maybe headache or have like anything you go for it, there are article numbers in it. There are every companies when they produce, there are article numbers. Look into that article numbers, because as I said, everything has a copy. You everything, when you get an estimation, you might get, okay, we are using BWP, we are using branded MR, we are using headache, but there can be manipulations behind. So that's the reason, have a check on the article code. You can ask the people, because most, and trust me, 50% or 60% people doesn't know about this article code, what they buy from the hardware shops. Even in Century, if you got, there are CML numbers, and also there are stickers which there you can scan it and see that whether it is original or not. So you need to, and that is on the very final set of checking you can do it. But I'm trying to tell you, get this specification very clearly from the from the vendor whom you are choosing it. For example, vanity, there is a vanity unit, there is a sink unit. What material are you using? What hinges are you using it? So basically, what we prefer to use most of the WPC materials on the bottom so that it is a wood compost panel. So that basically what happens, it will sustain. So these are how expert they are using each area so that it will be future avoiding service work or avoiding any mistake. So get a very detailed metal specification, even if it is a cushion or even if it is a laminate. For example, there are laminate, I don't must be aware of, there are 1 mm laminate, 0.8 laminate. So you ask them specification, is it a 1 mm? And always check the thickness of the laminate. Everything accordingly, the price will be set. So have a knowledge on the material and do not ignore the specification which is given by them, right? So that is a third one. And when you go for a fourth one, you should always have a the timeline which will be done from the you know from the this is a major thing. This is where people are losing out. What happens verbally, we commit, okay sir, 45 days, sir, 60 days. Are you getting any written document from the vendor? That is important. If not, please ask for it. If you are asking, please get it in a letter. There can be, so what we actually do it, there needs to be a, you need to send a, the moment that the payment received or returns, you can ask them for a work schedule or else a roadmap. For example, okay, when are you planning to, hand it over? How are you planning to give? When can I get my? So what happens once the designing is done? There are a lot of stages in this. For example, if you are going with the factory finish, the moment which is done, you need to prepare a nice cut list. There is something called a cut list, the panel sizes. You need to procure the things. There is a factory production happens. When it reaches to the site, then you hire the installation vendors. Installation will also take place. You will have your granite, tiles, not only modular things. There are n number of things, and the hardware fittings can happen. You will need to have a curtains, light fittings, your paintings, the final deeply. There are a lot of stages out there. So get a concrete stages as a roadmap from them. Okay, so then you will come to know, okay, because the reason I'm telling you, if somebody promised you like, okay, I'm giving you your house by 28th of February, and you're not sure, like 20th, what is happening in your, where is it? Okay, is it in a production? Is it in a procurement? Is it in, you have no idea. So get this work schedule very detailed way so that you can question them. For example, okay, there is a deadline which is given, my metal supposed to reach. Why is it not reached? You can be very cautious. Keep asking them. So that is the reason what happens. This you will have a much control, and the final delay you will definitely avoid, because when you say that you are aware that okay 20th December, if 15th or 10th December itself the material is not come to your side and there is something wrong, you need to be really cautious. You need to be really questioning them. So again, I'm telling you, these all we have taken it because of our experience, because it is not that we also delayed. We also had issues. We also had to give the the rental back to the clients. We also, there are penalty clause we had to do. So burning hands, we realized that okay, this is what we are supposed to do. If this I'm sharing to the clients are having a very a framework of this is what's going to happen. So please ask for it. So what happens if the project can be delayed? Again, the relationship with there can be again stress, you firefighting and everything. So what you need to, you'll get a project calendar, you'll get a handover, and the same way the project tracking people, you can also track your project. In a way, you'll be aware of it. If there is something go wrong, also you can question much before that. So this is basically, you need to take a written timeline from the vendor, right? And moving on to the, okay, the mistake five can people can have like no clear payment structure. Yes. So there are cases if somebody is having, sir, you pay me 70% in advance, everything will be done. So I know, because in this, when there are payments are important, there are advance payment needed, because usually what happens according to the payment, we are buying the materials and everything. But it has to be on the structure here. So you are you paying initial advance of 10%? Okay, there are the 10% if you're giving it. You can ask them, when can I get this? So there can be a structure. It can be when the production happens. Okay, by the production happens, you might have paid 60% of payment to the vendor. You will be left with only 40%. So remaining 40%, how can you pay it? Again, if they pay it, you don't need to pay. Let them send the material to your site. Once you see in the whole material at a site, please proceed with it. That always make sure that you agree with the payment terms and they agree with your, if there is any concerns you have it, or you're thinking that, oh, I got to be keeping it around 5-10% at last, so that I'm not sure with that. See, it is all your call. So make sure that, because it is your hard-earned money, so you need to spend it in a way, in a structured manner. So that's the reason we are telling, have a milestone, and there can be progress linked to billing can be happen. So we always say, we have a set of payment terms, but always it has to be agreed with the client. So make sure that, and what happens again, one more important thing is, if you delay on the payments, obviously the project can also get delayed. So it is also important, you need to pay, but you need to pay in your very safer way. So have a very clear cut payment structure from the vendor, right? And one important thing is understanding the warranty. So this comes at a probably at a last stage, because once you get in everything, what is the warranty which is given? So you need to be aware of it. What is covered and what is not covered. So usually the cabinets and panels, which is usually done from a vendor, is definitely covered. So what happened? There can be questions. What I see it like, Century Sonic is gives you only 5 years of warranty, but the vendor is giving 10 years of warranty. So you cannot go and ask Century that, if you are a customer, you cannot ask Century that, boss, I bought, this is the estimation given by this vendor, and this is what, there is a 5 years of warranty, or 10 years of warranty. So you will not get anything from Century, because it is billed to the vendor, because there is no payment, there is no invoice, you got it. So you actually pay to the vendor whoever is in interior. So you need to get a proper warranty. So are they giving any warranty card? Are they giving any warranty certificate? If they are giving warranty, are they giving it with the letterhead? And how many years? What is covered? What is not covered? You need to get a clarity of that. Even if you're saying hardware, for example, we have experienced that. So the moment when we have handed over the flat within 20-25 days, most of their on the kitchen and the sink area, the most of the things we got rusted. So the client has raised, George, because just 25 days, how can we think? So, but actually, if you look at it, as none of the hardware companies are giving a rusting warranty. So they are claiming to be, because we can use any chemicals. If you do an acid wash, because it is all zinc coated, even all the soft closes from Bloom and everything will have 1 year of warranty, but rest everything is zinc coated. What happens? The top layer can go. So, but we are at a client, because the client is not wrong, because he was not aware of it. Probably it was our mistake. We might have educated them. So you use any chemicals for any pesticides or anything. So those things can also be aware of it. So get a clarity of the plywood or laminate or hardware, anything, what is covered, what is not covered, you should be able to figure it out with your and get a certificate also from them. That is very important for you, because otherwise there will be again a struggle what you're going to see. All right. And again, one important thing I'm going to say, that service response time. So usually everybody, even interior, what I believe, we are all in interior industry, we say timeline and 45. See, timeline and quality is a basic thing we have to deliver to a client. But everybody will probably, what happens, you get a flat in your on time and you also get your expected quality. But if something goes wrong tomorrow, and immediately, let's take a sliding track or anything, it is stuck. If your vendor is not able to give the services within the timeline, then that is very important. So you need to take that in a very close, make sure that they are actually coming in service. That is the most important thing, in because this is a service industry. So services has to be really expected timeline. Please ask for it, right? And unclear of scope of work. Yes. So this is one important thing. If you see it, initially what I said, you need to have your budget. When you say that whatever is your budget, X number of anything. So what you want to cover with it. So one interior initially what they give, it will be more on a modular things, more on a furnitures. When I say cupboards, all your modular factory fittings and maybe study table, all modular things, maybe some arch paneling, some puja in it and all sort of things. There are what is coming in additional. So what happens, builder might give standard points according to their drawings. When you are doing an interior, there can be a lot of work because you wanted a light in puja in it, you need a light in any of the study or wherever you want it. You make it the way you want. So there we might need to do a proper chipping, wiring, getting a new light. So this is all extra work, wherein it will shoot up your budget again. You should be having a clarity. It's better to ask first itself. There can be some plumbing. Plumbing, usually we see it very less, but again, plumbing will also be one thing. Painting. Are you going with the Royal or a tractor, or is your, if it is a small builder, are they going to do a painting of the interior? Usually, I don't see nowadays, most of the builders don't do it. So that will also be a cost will get that you need to get your furniture like your sofa, dining table. Some people use the existing one, some people buy the new one. You also need to buy your lightings, all curtains and all your bathroom fittings. There are many things which comes under. So when you do a budget, be very clear whether you want to cover up everything with that, or you have additional steps also. Have that budgeting done so that you get a scope of work very clearly, very neat and clean from the vendor you need to get. So what is included? So what happens sometimes, we will give a 3D image, and in that there is a kitchen and there is also a chimney, hob and everything. And without that, there are 3D is not fulfilled. So you see that, okay, in your 3D it is given there is a chimney and hob, but in the estimation it might not be there. So because there are different brand, different pricing also there. So you need to have a clarity that is the client, is the vendor is getting accessories, or you need to get it. All clarity you need to have it. Okay. So that comes in, you need to be very clear on the scope of work, what you gonna get it from the vendor. And yes, so I prefer, nowadays, maybe 8-10 years, if you look at it back, most of the things, the site, there was an work which used to done because there are carpenters who do a cutting and everything. So what happened? A lot of metal wastages, and most important thing is finishing. And yeah, I'm not saying that there are carpenters, their finishes are extremely good, but not everybody. But in factory, 95% of the things will come very good finishing. So if you are preferring to the factory made furniture, you will get a better finish, very very precise to level of cutting and edges and everything. You get it there, and the installation is also very fast, because in your site, if you look at it, malware, it will be completely a mess. There are a lot of cutting, there are a lot of dust. In the cutting, there can be chances of your tile can get damaged and everything. But in factory, what happens? Most of the things are done at a site and the installation happens. So in a way, it will be less messy when compared to, you do get dusters and things like that. When there can be here and then such setup. Sometimes some dummies and everything we might need to do it. Otherwise, factory finish should be always better. But only one thing is, if you are good, I prefer you go with the vendor who owns a factory, and owns a showroom. Because the reason I'm trying to tell you, there are a lot of vendors in market. There are a lot of freelancers and everything. There can be tie up and everything. So I promise you some material, and I'm outsourcing my entire production to somebody else. If the vendor doesn't have such a level of mechanism, he will also get fooled, and the customer will also get fooled equally. So this has happened with me because we didn't have a factory before. Before starting initially, there are trust we say it, but in business we won't be able to trust anybody. So that is the reason I'm trying to tell you. You visit the factory. So now we can say that, how do I trust that there is a material which is, you promised me that, okay, George, I'm giving you century, and how do you trust? So that's the reason we usually call the clients to the factory when the pasting times. If you have a time, please stand there and see the pasting and see that if the material is the same. If you don't have time, at least you can ask for videos from them. And there are cases you can go out, and there are clients we take and sign it on the extremely on the right side, but it will go again on the cutting. So it is not a right solution. Please visit their factory. see their finishing there, you can see it, and how organized they are, like how the stations are being maintained. You better see it and have a factory visit. And you can always claim that, you know, that is the only way when you can check the material what you've been promised or delivered or not. You can always check. And I prefer, you try to choose people those who owns a factory. But what happen if you go with a very corporate and you see the fancy showrooms and fancy great designs and everything, we might get attracted to those things. But everything will be a tie-up factory. If you get a chance to visit their factory, it is always better because you see it from your eyes. Because again, I say it is your hard-earned money, right? So try to visit their factory. It is always better. Don't skip it. And yeah, no single point of. So this is more on a kind of communications, I would say, because one set of point of contact is that usually we call it as an operational head. So and we also have a site engineers. When you talk to multiple people, what happens? The miscommunication definitely happens because certain cases we have seen the carpenters are being discussed and everything because sometimes carpenters become the designers. So that some people have tend to sir isko aisa kar sakte the, you would have tried this way and those kind of. So if you're choosing a right people because they might have already gone through, there are instructions will be given. So have a one point of contact. If you met a design head and you feel being comfortable, get a confirmation from the vendor side who is the one person whom I need to rely on after the design or from the design hand over who is the right person. Get that detail, communicate a single point out. If you're not happy with that, highlight to their management in immediately. I'm not saying every offset or every department wise will be having a very happy, your experience in that case. But if you see that something not the way you wanted it, please find the right person, to highlight to the management. So better to usually the right vendors will have a dedicated managers, and that is how it has to be. Otherwise, very difficult to manage the project. So better to get a one point of contact from them. And the last part is signing without a contract reading. So it's very important. Um, See what I'm trying to tell you. So what I said initially, the moment when you choose a right partner, get a work schedule, that will give a clarity to you. Once the designs are finalized, there are not only you choose your laminate, you choose your handles, you choose a ply, and you choose an inner laminate. You might choose a wallpaper from them. You choose a paint colors from them. Might choose curtains. Based on their drawings, you will have your oven or a tall unit or your cabinets made with them. Sorry, with the chimney, whatever it is. There are certain things vendors might bring in and certain things you might need to get a clarity everything with in the sign of document. We call it as a sign of document wherein before you make the final payment, when I say final payment, the advance payment may be 10% whatever. When you're making a production payment, make sure that you're getting a document from them. We usually ask the team to go through then take a walkthrough of that, because the moment you get a 2D and 3D, it might not, you won't be usually 90% of people won't be able to, as a layman, won't be able to see what is a 2D it is meant. It is all a lot of lines and lot of numbers which will be there. You always visualize as per the 3D which is given by the vendor. What happens, you might have an expectations, okay, this is how it has come, but in the 2D, the vendors might be right because they might have they given it a detail. So that's the reason. Take a walkthrough of the sign off document and usually attach the laminate code, which company and handles if you choose, let them attach a photo of it. If there is a CNC designs which is made in, as per that, you might give some reference to them and they say that, okay, this is how it can be done. Attach the reference, attach the tile pictures, attach the granite or quartz, whatever it is, the brand, the code, everything, get in a detail from them, get a sign from them, and you also better to get a sign. So that will become a work agreement so that you will have a very detailed. So verbally we communicate, verbally we discuss many, many things with us. But whatever goes finally in the document is only one thing which will, um, you know, save you, or it will be good for you. Tomorrow you can talk, tomorrow you can go to any extent for that matter. So with this, what I need to say that, if you avoid definitely these 10 mistakes, trust me, your interior journey will be very smooth, and you might not spend things unnecessary, and you will get a more clarity where you need to spend, how can you spend, and it will be really an enjoyable journey what you see it. So um, I hope my presentations or the points what I have shared might really help you. So this is it from my end, and we can take up for a question. Yes.
So, dear participants, if you have any questions, you can either post it on the chat box or you can raise your hands. We'll call up your names according to the order. So, if you need to talk to Mr. George sir, you can raise your hands and unmute yourself and ask your questions. Or please try to put it on the chat box. Please try to ask the questions either on the chat box or please try to raise your hands. You can see the raise your hand option in your window. You can just click on that. Yeah. Now she's on.
Yeah,
Yes,
hello.
you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello, George. Thanks for the presentation. So I had one question on the point, like you are discussing about the agreement on the completion, like on the timeline, especially like 45 days or 60 days. So what is the next step if the timeline is not met and we have an agreement? What kind of clauses can we have?
Exactly. Very good point. Probably I might have missed in everything. Correct. Exactly. So you should have a penalty clause. The vendor should give you a penalty clause. What happens is it when you have a work schedule, you'll come to know that um, are they going to delay for a week or are they going to delay for a month, whatever it is. So you need to have a penalty clause. Are they going to give you a refund in a per day wise or a monthly wise or a weekly wise? Please get a penalty clause. That is something very important, because I understand when you are if you are buying for the first time property, you will be in a rental place, and that's when this is usually clients comes in. They with the agreement given by the vendor, what happens, we might commit to the owner. They might say that okay, we need to vacate in this month, and if prolonged, what happens, you end up staying nowhere. This can happen. So that is the reason. Please get a refund policies or an penalty clause.
Okay, Nadir sir, I hope you got the answer for your question. Next is Venkat Chekuri. Okay, meanwhile, we got a question in our chat box. Please, can you summarize all the mistakes or can you share those slides here on WhatsApp? That was one question.
Definitely.
So next is, what is the normal payment schedule?
Okay. All right. So normal payment schedules, for example, usually there, if you go for an advertisement and everything, there can be spot booking happens. Okay. So that is, I'm keeping it separately. Now, first of all, before that, let's understand when you go for an interior, there are different stages, right? So what happened the moment when you actually see a vendor and you got a satisfactory quotation from them, then you will analyze probably with somebody else and you make a final. Then there is the first stage. What happened as a from a vendor side, what I'm trying to tell you how we work. There is something called a modeling. We have a first connect with the client to understand their taste. For example, are they looking for more on any themes like traditional, or they need more storage? Are they going for a minimalistic? We'll get an idea. What is their color theme? Are they into a much of subtle colors or vibrant colors they're looking for it? All the detail we'll take it, and we create usually at the sales time there is a pitching of mood board, but we create a modeling. So for that, initially, what we usually take of 5% of the overall budget. For example, there are companies I've seen they take 10%. So we want to give it more flexibility to the customer to understand. Okay, there can be trust also should be, because you might be seeing for the first time, right? So 5% we'll give a modeling to them, and they'll get a fair idea of 60% to understand. Oh, this is how my kitchen, this is how my hall, this is space, and everything you get it. Then when you go for there is a 3D rendered images and everything. We'll take another 5% and we'll give a 2D, 3D. We'll go to their site, we'll take a measurement, we'll do a masking, understanding this is how your wardrobe comes, and this is where you have your cot. This is a space you can get to walk in. Every detail we'll give it. And that is done. What we do, we prepare a work agreement. When I said initially, we'll put everything with them and we'll share it with them. They'll go through it. And according to, if there is a revised quotation happens also according to the taste, then the metal can change, the scope of work can depends on the pocket size and the discussion what we had. It will be very transparent way it is explained, because we don't want to say that, once there is a 10 lakh of budget and when you send a revised, it is a 20 lakh budget. No, in every stage, when they're choosing a metal, everything, there is always our design team will, sir, if you choose this will be additional, because that transparency has to be given. We have heard from many clients that they're having this feeling because they already paid certain amount and the quotation is coming and they're stuck. They cannot come out of it. They end up seeing half of this. And we don't want to get in there. We'll give a very, very clear transparency that if you're choosing this is the one. So the customer is clear, and we will send this complete detail. Then we take a 50% from them and we will do a production. We will give a work agreement to them, the work schedule, I'd say. And once we send the material to their site, we'll take the remaining work. There are certain cases. Then we've been doing this from past 4-5 years now. There are some clients in between say that, no, George, I cannot pay it upfront. I want to hold around 10% of yours, so that this has happened with me previously. And we said, okay, sir, no issues. Keep 10%. We see everything. Once you are happy within the timeline, we take that from it. This is how it is better, but every companies will have their own logic. But I say this is, maybe you can have a 10%, 50%, and the balance maybe 10, 50, maybe 30, and 10 is ideally the best one. Hope that answer your question.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, how about you arrive at a budget, let's say for kitchen or bedroom?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Sorry.
Like how can you arrive at a budget, let's say for kitchen or bedroom?
Arrive at a budget.
Yeah.
Okay, so the budget is something. It is more on a functionality, because it's the interior budget goes with the space what is available, and there are certain things. If you have maybe a 12 by 10 such a big kitchen, you cannot make it for a 10 by 7, 8 by 7, right? So it has to look aesthetically, and you need to be very clear that the price may go on the material. What I'm trying to tell you, you have to go very compulsory with BW boiling waterproof, because it is, even if trust me, if you're using BWP and in the vanity, if there is a regular contact of water, it will spoil. That is the reason I was telling it is better to have a surface or any of the areas covered with the WPC. So one is the material, BWP compulsory, and for example, there are different finishes you have. Like whether you want basic finishing, you want to start with the laminate finish in that glossy finish, or you want to go for the acrylic, and then it goes like Duco paint, or if you want a veneer, lacquered glass, maybe if you want a membrane, all sort of it all goes with your finishes. First thing is the core material and finishing, then the hardware. So there are in market, you have EPCO fittings, you may be headache fitting, you maybe have a bloom fitting, all sort of things. Second thing is the kitchen again, countertop. You will get a granite also, which is fairly, to be very, very durable. But if you're looking for an aesthetic way, and the designs are looking great with the cots. and quartz is priced double than the granite. So all these factors will decide. So if you want to, that's exactly I'm telling you, you need to have a budget in your mind that okay, this is what I want to spend for my home, and this is what I can spend it in a kitchen, because kitchen is something, there are certain things you have to implement there, because and then accessories which comes, you can go with the normal wire basket also, but nowadays everybody is using tandem boxes. I'm sorry. So many factors like hardwares, your raw material, your finishings, and everything will countertops. All that will this is how you arrive at a for your kitchen. Is that the same question you had? Is it the same answer you're looking for it, or is there anything specific?
You can unmute yourself and ask, interact, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I think we can move on to the next question. I can personally select colors, laminates, and plywood by checking Pinterest and get the work done through a local carpenter. That will cost me less. So convince me, why should I go with an interior designer instead?
Okay, great questions. Very valid. See, again, I said initially the Pinterest and everything, it is more on a software. It look really great. And the things you can go and purchase and you can give it to a carpenter. The carpenter is great. He will definitely do a great job. There's no doubt in it. But only one thing is, you are a person who will be with the coordinator do everything. So you might need to procure a material, you need to go there, you need to get it. So when you don't have a proper knowledge, for example, in that house, you might need to be using only 50 ply, but you end up probably having another set of material wastages. And if the carpenters, because in the corona time, this has happened many times, there are advances given to the carpenter, they don't even turn up, and they have taken the money, they don't turn up, then it will be because so when you're choosing interior designer, you will get a clear cut plan. I mean, it is not that every time you learn have a great experience, but only thing, these things, when you keep it in your mind, get a clear cut plan, clear cut roadmap, have a customized design. Because when you take a Pinterest design, because okay, this sliding door is looking very great and very nice in Pinterest, you take that, but that exactly the design can be replicate in your house in your dimensions, not sure, because that has the limitations out there. Because when you usually the carpenter, whatever you say, they say yes, and they might say, sir, this will look great, but we end up in something else. So you will get a, when you hire a interior designer, you get a very good clarity, like before moving itself, you will get a, this is how the house is going to look. So that is the way. I know definitely you spend a little extra than what you're given to them, but you will the rest of the consequence of what you spend less will also be there, and the additional benefit what you're getting by through an interior designer. I always suggest, if you have, and if it is an investment you're planning to for it, please go with an interior designer if there is and if you're saying that you have all the time, you can check everything and you can do a great job there, you can be dedicatedly there, I'm sure that definitely you will save money there. But these are all the consequences you can get to see that it might not reflect exactly the same thing at your house.
Sure, sir. Next question is, which is the best plywood?
No, that is a great question for me. I say I usually use, there are two reasons I'm using it. One, my supplier is very supportive for me, and whomever I'm buying it, and any queries and everything, very responsive. That is very important, no matter whatever it is. And I suggest for a kitchen, if you're going with that, I've been using it from past close to 7+ years. It is Century Club Prime. Club Prime is for a BWP. It is in a grade. You also have Green Club also. Even another set is, I guess Century Club Prime is very nice, and the rest of the eggs, even if you get a Century MR, is also very nice. I'm not typically promoting it, but I've seen it. The material is really nice.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Next question is,
Sir, how about the Gurjan King? Now the interiors, most of them, they are using that Gurjan King. How is that?
Okay. So Gurjan, when you say, okay, let's understand. So Gurjan is another wood. So you need to understand how the BWP is made. No, BWP is usually there is close to it's all depends. When you from the forest, they'll cut the wood, the wooden log will come. Um, they will sock it, they'll peel it and there is a lot of process which goes for. So the wood what you see in MR and wood what you the core metal what you see in MR and BWP will be the same. There won't be any difference. The waterproof makes the chemicals, the resin, the glue what is used is the only difference against this waterproof and this one. There's a process. So usually the MR made also, in the urea base, another one is a phenol base. So what happened? It goes for a complete around close to 72 hours of boiling water. In that they say if the layers are not dispatching, then the testing is done. So that is how it has been. So Gurjan is one of the wood inside. So people say Gurjan wood, people say neem wood and everything. So you see, usually the combination of if you go for an 18 ply, there can be you can see 11 layers inside. Each layers are peeled and kept it in that hot there is a frame which is in the manufacturing happens. Now the Gurjan in the forest when they cut it, say when you get a eucalyptus. Rubber wood also you get, but rubber wood is a soft wood. Usually it cannot be used it for waterproof. If somebody is telling waterproof rubber wood, it is wrong. So you will have a eucalyptus, you will get a hardwood from them, you will get a Gurjan. So Gurjan is one of the wood. So somebody is having a brand of Gurjan wood, not necessarily everything is Gurjan wood. Somebody is telling neem wood. Neem is one of the core inside. And if somebody is in neem wood, you cannot go and 11 layers count it, it is a complete neem. It won't be there. And if that is the case, how much neem they need to do it. So these are all the things when you understand Gurjan, there is a brand. It can be a brand of Gurjan, but all the wood is usually not Gurjan inside. But the face you have, there is a ply, there is a face. When you have face, that is usually comes from Burma, Bali, and everything. So that face usually comes with the Gurjan because that has a surface is little stick and little rough, so that the laminate and all everything really paste well. So that is the reason you will see a face of Gurjans. Otherwise, there is something called Hukuma face and everything. Every Gurjan face is very costly. So that is the reason. The wood is basically the layers what you see it inside.
Okay. Sometimes interior designers they'll say they'll use a 1 mm of what is it, laminating sheets, and when it comes to the site, sometimes it will be a 8 mm. How? Sorry, 0.8 mm something they'll tell. So it will be not 1 mm, below 1 mm. So how can we identify that one?
Okay.
If they are
So,
using the same material what they have quoted in our agreement, so
mhm.
how can we find out that?
Okay. Something after pasting coming there as a panel, you won't be able to check anything. But there is
Yes, before pasting.
before pasting, there is a vernier. There is a measurement vernier is there. You can search in Google. There is a vernier there. If you go and just you keep your the laminate or anything else. For example, if this is the laminate thickness, you can if you check it, you will be able to see whether it is a 0.8 or a 1 mm. You should be able to see it.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The next question is, how do I know the basic budget for my project if it's 4 BHK so that it's not under budget or over budget if I want good quality products?
Okay, so you're saying that 4 BHK?
And she don't want it to be under budget or over budget. And she also wants a good quality products.
Okay. So the budget is, as I said, it depends on your pocket size. So who is deciding your budget? It is you, right? So you have a, let's say, I mean, whoever the question is telling, he or she is telling they have a 4 BHK.
So I think she's planning for a 4 BHK and she
Okay.
she doesn't want it to be under budget or over budget.
Perfect. So when you move the house, let's divide into two things. Something to must have, another something to good to have. So must have things is, okay, when you go to a flat, you need a modular kitchen, basically. There is a modular kitchen. You need to have an entertainment, maybe a basic TV in it. You need to have a wardrobes. That is mandate, right? See the rest of this, you need to have some curtains. It is basically because it's all important. These are all things can be called as a, see, you, if you are a working professionals, there are a lot of work from home. You might need a nowadays, for example, nowadays that also become a must have things at your home. Now, add-ons. See, must have is if you want to keep your, you don't want to overshoot budget, but I need it with a good quality, right? Now, I am very specific. This is a material I want to use it, and I want this to be gone for another 10 to 15 years or 20 years. That is a good quality on, but I don't want to overspend it. So then you need to focus more on must-have things. Okay, you need to have a strong modular kitchen. You need to have a strong wardrobes, and steady whatever which is needed. Then good to have things. You can have a very artifacts. I mean, very great wall decors. You can have a great, very fancy TV net, spending a lot of money, lakhs there, putting a lot of lures and everything. You can have a great puja in it. You can have a puja mandir also, simple one. But it depends on how you pray and how you see that. But you make a very grand puja. And see that the must good to have things. It is usually when somebody comes to your house, they are the one usually judge you, right? So where you want to spend, because something you can spend on living, nobody's going to come to your bedroom. So living, okay, you want to make it on the living. I want to make it little more on the good to have things, more on the fall ceiling and lights. Rest of things, I want to keep it as a very, I'm not calling it as the basic things. It is a must have things. You should have it at home. So that you focus on that. Then you see that you take this estimation from, the vendor. You see it, how much is the budget is coming in. Then you see your pocket. Then, okay, this is, I can stretch it a little more so that I can do this. Or I don't want this much, I can take out this. So you have to derive in two things. One is must to have, one is a good to have. I guess this can be clearing your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The next question is, sir, good evening. Kitchen shutter should be made by HDHMR or by board or BWP only.
Okay. So I suggest if you are going with the matte laminates, you can go with your BWP. But if you're going with a glossy, if you're going with acrylic and this finishing, it has to be HDHMR, because the reason is, as I said, usually the BWP faces are on gurgeon. It will have a rough face. The moment when you have a laminate pasted on that, when usually the lights focus on that, you see an ambulances. So you spend good amount of money. Look is also important, and the quality. So that is the reason I said HDHMR is better if you're going with a glossy or anything above that. But matte laminate, if you're preferring, you can always go with, definitely 1 mm, and you can go with the BWP.
Sure, sir. Thank you. The next question is, can we get good agencies for custom furniture in Bangalore? Do you have services in your factory or any references?
Yeah, we can connect. You can DM me. We can definitely connect. Not an issue.
Sure, sir. How much percentage of total court value should we keep as safety for final disbursement?
How much percentage of?
Total court value.
I guess 10% ideally you can keep it. I don't think so. More than that, the vendors won't agree. I guess 10% is decent enough. You can keep it, and depends on the clause, you can do it.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, what about making payment in cash or via account?
Very, very good questions. So you guys are put me into wherein legal compliance issues. So everything has to be in GST terms. So when you give it in a cash, it doesn't work. Yeah, see, that's when you will have a flexibility when you work.
Sorry, sir. It was someone has unmuted the call. You can continue.
All right. So I see we are a private limited company. We go with we take compliances very seriously and legally. So it has to be, see, I'll tell you, you might have an 18% of reductions if you give it in cash. This usually happens with the people, those who are freelancers and contractors and everything, wherein you don't need to show the account and everything. But tomorrow, if something goes wrong, how do you justify that you have made a payment and everything? How do you, where is the proof? What do you proof you have? If everything ends up, it is good. But if tomorrow some clause, something goes wrong, you don't have anything. There is a proof. I say whether your vendor charge GST, not GST, it is all secondary. I prefer always make a payment where you have a proof. I don't suggest you to give it anything in the cash because you don't have any proof. So either towards others, you also need to see the check whom are you giving, right? So the check or the account transfer is always better, and take a receipt for that. So I suggest to give it in account wise.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bandanivas Ramadurg, sir, he have raised his hand. Sir, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions. He has put his question in the chat box. I live in Bangalore, but I have purchased a fine villa in North Karnataka, Vijaypur. How does the whole thing work when it's outstation, 500 kilometers from Bangalore?
Okay, so we have done projects far also. So usually what happens, there will be definitely an additional cost which goes for the transportations and things like that. Apart from that, nothing changes because when the people definitely they need to see the site. Then because here things can work in a VC and everything, but they need to see site and they need to take a proper measurement from there. They have to come back it, and if there is a 500-kilometer distance of the project, any of the vendor is taking it, they should be really mindful about the product, what they send it from here. So we've usually done a lot of projects, even Mysore or Mangalore and Kundapura and everywhere. So usually we make sure that we go, our ops head goes, take a measurement and everything, the cutleries and everything. We do a factory, we first assemble everything, see everything's went. What happened if there is a small piece missing, again all the way travel, it will be definitely a costing for the vendor. So I'm sure that those who are, if you're giving somebody that, they should be taking care of it. Otherwise, the lenders are there, they will do it at a site. But again, site work has its own pros and cons there. So usually it workable. I guess people are doing it, and there are many people are doing it out of station also. It is workable. There's not a challenge, but only thing is probably you have on the transportation side, you might have an additional costing. You might need to bear it.
How much cost increases?
So for 500 kilometers and goes for usually there are two things. See, first 1 or 2 visits, definitely the team has to visit. For that, it will be like another their bus charges. And second thing is from here, everything comes all the way there. Maybe the eacher or the porter charges would be around, if I'm not wrong, close to around people charging 25 to 30K. So put together around close to a 40K will be the additional one compared to the others. Rest everything remains the same.
No, I mean to say for the whole project to finish.
Exactly. So only one thing is, and there are second thing is, if your house, if the laborers can stay there, because their accommodation is also very important, right? So if they can stay at your place, there is nothing extra. Otherwise, that will be so hardly. If you need to give them a PG or anything extra, would be like how much? Like maybe a 10K extra. I guess maximum of 50K, nothing more than that.
Okay, in that premises, if they cannot stay, so we have to provide the stay for them.
So what happens here? What happens? There are vendors. So we have a carpenters and everything. What happens? They stay in their place. There is we don't pay anything on their accommodations and everything. But when they go to an out of station, so they need to stay in somewhere else, right? So that cost may probably usually what happens in the interior they will easily cover it from you, or they'll ask you to pay separately.
See, if the project takes around 2 to 3 months time, then so we have to provide the accommodation. It is from our side, or they will manage it on their own.
See, the charges probably there are two ways. It depends on your vendors. Like either you can get an agreement with them that either they will pay, but it will definitely charge to you, or else you can pay them directly.
If at all, if I give the contract to you itself, so how much are you going to charge? That's what I want to know.
So it depends on the place what is available there, sir. For example, if there is any PGs available there, how much for a one person for a PG economic food will be maybe 7,000, 6,000, 5,000. All that differs. And there will be we need to decide how much is the scope of work there, how much labor I need to deploy there. So that comes in that costing there.
It's a 3 BHK villa, and built up area is 2,800 square feet.
I guess for this detailing, probably we can connect separately, sir.
No,
I mean,
I'm just asking you the time duration that you may take to complete the project, whole interiors.
you mean three-way? It's a villa, is it?
Yeah, it's a villa.
Okay, so
It's
usually
a gate. It's a gated community. Yeah.
okay, so villas usually 75 days is something we are taking it, sir.
Okay. Okay.
75 days.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Sir.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Asif H has asked a very big question in the chat box. So, Mr. Asif sir, it's better if you can unmute yourself and ask your questions directly instead of putting the question in the chat box. Meanwhile, if anybody of you has got any other questions, you can either put it in the chat box, or you can just raise your hands and directly connect with sir. Sandeep Nabyar asked, do we need to change the front door provided by builder?
Sorry.
Sandeep Nabyar has asked a question. Do we need to change the front door provided by builder?
Why do we need to change it? I don't think so. That is a relevant question. I don't think so. We need to change it.
Yes, sir. So yeah, Asif sir is traveling, so that's why he has texted. If you don't mind, sir, you can just read out the question. It's a very big question.
Just give me a minute. As in interior design, my locality are saying that BW has a 20-year of manufacturing warranty, but designers usually give 10 years of warranty on their work. Please explain me clearly what is your warranty cover. They're also saying that hardware warranty is only 2 years. Please confirm which brand you use. Okay. See this 20-year of warranty BWP again. So what happens? The wood is given by the manufacturers 20, I agree. But what happens? The cabinets and everything is prepared by the company here, because the pastings and everything, glues, all that matters. What we are giving as a warranty. See, with the termite proof and borrow proof, it will be all that chemically treated. What happens if if the laminates are peeling out, laminates are coming out? These are all things which is typically it is done at a factory. So the warranties usually the people are giving according to all these things are 10 years, because what happens? I don't think so. Any of them after 15 years, the wood would be great, but if something peels out, so that is the reason it is a combination of the complete panel which is coming. That's the reason people mention that the cabinets and the panel which is manufactured by the certain X number of companies are giving a warranty on that. So there are places give 25 years, 30 years, 40 years. Um, a company can claim any years of warranty, but what I'm trying to tell you is we human beings should also look at the lifespans of that, because anybody just telling 25, 30, it is all you need to check the most of the the marketing strategies as well. So that is the reason I say usually people are the trends gets in, because you yourself sometimes you will get bored of those things. You will also after 10 years see, it depends on your pocket again. But what I'm trying to tell you, this is based on a company's call. They can use 20 years, 25 years, but the cabinets panel manufactured by them. And but okay, so then it is again on the hardwares. So it is 2 years of that. So rather than 2 years, it is a manufacturing, the warranty is there, because headache enough, if you go for it, there is a manufacturing warranty they are giving for a lifetime. For example, there are channels. If there is a manufacturing issues on the bearing and everything is something also, they will replace it. So, but again, as I said, if there is a rusting, the wear and tear, the way it is being used, it has a lifespan of runners. So these things will not be covered under. Otherwise, manufacturing things will definitely covered under warranties. And please confirm which brand you use and what includes in the warranties. Yes, we use Hetek, so which I told you the warranty. If any problem comes after installation, they said it should be fixed within a clear time. Please tell how many days issues are resolved. See, usually, see what does my experience, what I'm trying to tell you. So sometimes we'll be at a side of the entire team will be really busy on the handing over these multiple projects. So we see the severity of the issue. For example, if there is a sliding door is stuck, and the person, somebody has to go in the next day, you need to take out entire the wardrobes and you need to get ready to office, and if you're not able to open it, this has happened with us also. I'm very clear. I'm telling it upfront. It is not that it happens everybody, and it's happened with also. We send these kind of immediately. We send within half an hour. The team has to reach that. It depends on the severity. But somebody is telling, okay, there is an issue. There is a drawer is making a noise, or the hinges are making a noise. But you send me within a week, or it is fine. If it is really a problem, we will tell you. We will take our time. So usually, otherwise, it is a 48 hours. We have there is a link which is raise a request. The moment if you raise a request with photos, details, and everything, you also can give whether it is urgent, premium, everything it is. We have digitalized that. It will come to us a dashboard according to the priority. We will send the people. Okay. And they should be fixed in the client and please tell me. And they also mentioned that only 3 changes are allowed in the 3D. Yes, which makes finance difficult. How do you handle this practically? Yes. So that is the reason I'm trying to tell you. When you make a 3D final designs, when somebody is telling you we will give 3D renders. So what happens? Any design usually that's the reason we are connecting with the client first, understanding them. Then we are making a modeling. That's why we are taking only 5%. When you can change modeling 3 times, because more than 3 or 5, 10 times, I don't think so. Then you are not clear on what exactly needed. 95% of people can get a very good clarity by second time. And 3, 4, and see, when they see if the vendors are really good, they might go for one more set of things. But otherwise, it'll keep on going. We will end up unnecessary delay in the time. So you also being a customer, you should also very clear, okay, this is what I want to do it. If a vendor is coming giving you a 10 different of catalogs and choose it from there, then they are wrong. The designer should come with a concept. Okay, you should give this is what the color as per your taste, it fits in. You will also come in. Only then it works. Otherwise, multiple changes, I don't think so. It is not about somebody is doing a process, but we will end up nowhere. That is the reason. My wardrobe size is 7 by 7. Please share approximate price for it. Okay, these things we can definitely take it in a, as a DM. We don't want to take it in this forum. Yeah. Okay, is that the questions or is there anything else?
Yes, sir. We've got 2 more questions. You were mentioning about plumbing in your talk. I want to install a water outlet in the balcony by taking connection from any of the water pipeline. The builder is not agreeing to do this now in the construction phase. If no objections, can you do that as part of interior?
Yeah. So we are into end-to-end interiors. We can do anything and everything is possible there. It is things available in market. Things what is available in market, Bangalore and everything, we can do it. Anything and everything we'll do it.
Sure, sir. Thank you. So, anybody else has got any other questions? Yes.
Yeah,
Can we
one
lift
question.
with 3x exterior?
Sorry?
Can we install lift with 3x3 exterior?
I didn't get this questions. Exterior.
I think it's an incomplete question. Reach Deepak sir, can you unmute yourself and ask your question directly? Someone else was asking a question. I think it was
Yeah.
Yeah. You can ask.
I want to know if we order factory fitted furniture and that kind of thing. How do we know what is the material? Like they say the material is teak wood. How do we make out that?
You have to visit their factory. That's my, I guess, in the second mistake what I mentioned. You
Oh,
in the factory and and that's what exactly I said. When you're spending your money, you take one day time and visit their factory.
okay.
Otherwise, it is very difficult when it comes there, and otherwise you might probably take it to a lab and checking all that process might be there. I never got into that process at all ever. We take the people at our factory.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Which is the ideal depth for kitchen wardrobes and lofts?
Which is ideal?
Depth for kitchen wardrobes and lofts.
Ideally, okay. So the kitchen, usually it has to, the depth, it should be a 600 mm, which is a 2 feet. But that is actually from a granite to the tile surface. Usually all the carcasses are made of 560 mm and the shutters are done with the 20 mm, which is 18 mm. So you will have usually a 580 and remaining balance is 20 mm will be protruding off the granite. The region in the bottom there has to be a water grooving should also be given in case if you actually clean and everything, the water will go all the way to the grooving one. It will not fall to your cabinet also. Ideally, when you stand from when you're cooking, when you stand to the depth of the wall, it has to be 600 mm.
Yes, sure. Next question is, what is your view and advice on aluminum interiors?
Okay, aluminum materials. See, I'm not an expert there, to be very frank, because usually I've seen there are people nowadays because the trending is coming. So when it comes to a waterproof and these issues, aluminum is great. But only thing is, if there are mechanism of hinges and everything is once it is cracked, I guess probably you have to replace the entire thing. Otherwise, very rarely, I usually don't have my factory. I usually outsource these things to them if the clients are very specific. I guess nowadays people are using it. Anything comes in a market initial stage, people refuse to accept it. Maybe after 4 to 5 years down the line, we might need to see these things are coming up. Like,
Okay, sir. The next question is, I have a question. What problem we can get into if we get purely stone kitchen interior done?
stone kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay. The problems usually I don't think so. It will be in coming, but I haven't encountered that yet. We're not that done to be very frank yet. But usually our major expertise areas with this ply and details there. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Next question is, are you suggesting WPC to use for the doors of wardrobe or kitchen cabinets density of 0.7 plus? Is it okay for this purpose?
I don't suggest WPC for a shutter. So the reason is the hinges holding capacity is not that great. People are using it as the waterproof one. You can use it, but you might be probably scratch it and go for a painting. The laminate applying and all, it is not possible, and it comes in a white color, so that is not possible. I do usually don't suggest in the shutter, but rather than to prevent the waterproof, you can keep the carcass top and a bottom and the back panel. Sometimes you can, if you go with the WPC, is better.
Okay, sir. Bandanivas Ramadurg sir has asked, can you suggest good interior companies names who can do in my place, Bijapur, out of Bangalore, 500 kilometers? So, sir, Kolo can help you find right professionals in your place. So, please wait till tomorrow. Our team will connect with you. So, there is another question. When should the new appliance be installed? After interiors and deep cleaning and overall painting should be done at what stage?
Okay. The appliances is better to install because basically you need to have a cutting and everything done before. I always suggest you can go after the deep cleaning because if you want to try the chimneys and exhaust and everything, when the site is messed up, let's not do it. Post your deep cleaning is better. But yeah, when the installation guys comes in, they make sure that they are not damaging the rest of the things, or if the painting is done, they are not, make sure that they are not the stains and everything shouldn't be left. Otherwise, that's the best part to install it.
Okay, sir. So we don't have more questions here. Sweda Nachi has raised her hand. Sweda ma'am, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Hello, Sweda ma'am. We don't have any questions in the chat box now. So If Shweta ma'am, you have any questions, you can ask now. Or else
Yeah,
I
hello, hello, sir.
Hi.
Actually, we are renovating our room. The TV panel behind the wall, we have selected a laminator and the lowers.
Hmm.
So, can both the lowers and laminator be at the same level pasted, or anything has to, embossed in front?
Okay, it depends on your design because if you are actually, it depends on your 3D. If you want the panel to be the TV panel to be front and the lowers to be back, and if you are planning to give any cove lights in the behind, in that case you can keep it behind and front and back. Otherwise, it totally depends on your designs because if you're having a flush surface, you want to show the lowers and plus the laminate. Either way, it is fine, but it depends on the design because if you selected a lowers is a different color, a different finish, obviously, and the laminate is not matching, maybe a contrast color. Then if you flush it on the same, I don't think so. It will be a greater design which is coming out. But if you're
Oh,
planning strobe lights and everything, you can have it, keep it around 20, 30 front, and you can paste it on the wall, the louvers also.
okay. Actually, the TV will be on the laminate, and on the panel there will be AC fixed. So, if it is like that, what we have to do?
You on the louvers, you're keeping the AC.
Yeah.
Okay, so then always the back panel you should be having with the ply, and then you need to paste this your louvers,
Okay.
then they can do the fitting. I guess it again what is the dimension of the width of the TV panel, I mean the entire unit?
But the entire unit is actually we're just planning it.
So probably
Uh,
you give it a front and back is always better so that it will avoid.
what's up? Come again?
Let the TV panel, the laminate should be front and the louvers can be back.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Bandhavas Ramadurg sir has one more question. How to choose good interior designers by brand or any other parameters?
Sorry, I didn't get that question. Sorry.
How to choose good interior designers? Is it by brand or any other parameters?
Okay. I guess brand is also important, but only one thing is only brand doesn't help. Probably you might need to go and a couple of enquiries and things you should do it with your the existing clients of what they serve. So that's when, see, if you're choosing a brand, you will also need to be looking at positive reviews and negative reviews also. Negative reviews you can listen to. Even if you go to my company, there are negatives. I'm not telling that there's no negative, but in every negative comments or every positive, I sit myself and reply that. You should listen to both the scenarios. Then you need to take up a call. Brand, yes, of course, it is needed, but I'm not against of any of the corporate brands and everything, but don't go with the very flashy advertisement and an offers and budget and everything. So that's what I suggest you, because it will be very difficult for you to choose also, because there are a lot of brands and everybody started promoting themselves. Okay, we are the best and we are the best. It all depends on the pocket size, what they have it in a Google and that spend. Everybody, because everybody needs a business. End of the day, it is all a business. But than a business, a basic profit everybody needs. Than a business, I guess it is a journey and a relationship. I guess probably the vendor and the customer has to manage. It is a one-time investment of a business, but still it carry forward for years. So this industry works will always with the referrals. Um, if you have somebody who can refer you with some brand and take that experience, will also be better option. That's the first option I try. Otherwise, if you have a time, please explore it. Don't just go with the blindly what is available in social media or anywhere. Just explore and choose somebody.
Okay, sir. Yes, thank you. I guess we don't have any questions remaining. I think yes, I think we can wind up, sir.
All right.
It's almost 8:30.
Okay.
So
So much everybody for joining. Hope my presentation was maybe helping you to reach certain extent. So that's a great.
yes, thank you. Thank you so much for patiently answering all the questions asked by our dear homeowners, and you've done a really great session. It was really eye-opening. And thank you, our dear participants, for joining us today. And also, before ending the session, I have a small request. We're going to put 2 links for the Play Store and App Store of our app. You can, if you can, it would be better. It would be a really great help. You can rate us on the Play Store and App Store. So once again, thank you so much, George sir. It was a really great session. I hope the homeowners has got something from you and something from this session today. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
All your participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.